There you go.
All right. Sorry. Can you guys hear us now? Can we get a little confirmation? We apologize for the technical issues. There's always got to be one.
They can hear you.
Yeah. Oh, I want to see them say it.
Shane is guaranteeing that.
Too much food is absolutely right. I have the most live streaming technical issues. He is absolutely correct. He's a nice guy. I actually did a podcast with him once.
Say something a bit loud.
Fuck you, Shane. How could you say that about Scott's mother?
Say something loud.
That's Scott. We'll do introductions in a minute. I apologize. All right. They all say it's working. All right. Let's go. Get back over here, Shane. Can someone give us the nighttime link? Whatever the hell.
Yeah.
The night. Damn it, Shane. The night mode link. Somebody. All right. I guess not. All right. Whatever.
Hello.
Hey, we're going to start all over again. Sorry about that. When this is re-uploaded to YouTube, we'll just basically be starting right here.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. We're doing a live stream. I'm Adam Koralik. I'm sure you know that because this is my channel. I'm here. I'm up in Canada. I'm hanging out with Shane Lewis, aka Rerez TV. You should check him out. He's got a link in the description to his channel and stuff. I came up for Con Bravo, and he was there, and he's cool. I hang out with him, and I touch him a lot like this, and he looks awkwardly.
I'm not jealous at all.
Yeah, he's not. This is Scott the Canadian. You might
Hi,
know
everybody.
him. Yeah, you remember him. He's been in a lot of the Canadian game hunting videos. I mean, do the pose. Yeah, it seems familiar now, doesn't it?
I
He
do
did it once too.
Yeah.
Adam basically forces me to do that.
Yeah, what happens is I'm like, I need a still, so I just decide to get like a shot of the entire like game store or whatever, and Scott's always just standing there, so I turn around and just get his attention. And his go-to move when he sees a camera
I'm
is...
never paying attention.
Yeah, but the second you see the camera, what happens?
I don't know what to do, and I give a thumbs up.
Exactly. He just gives
Basically.
this one look, and that's what always goes
Hey,
down.
it works out.
So anyway, we basically just decided that it would be kind of cool to, since I'm at Shane's place, Rerez's headquarters basically, and that's why it doesn't look like shit. That's why it's all awesome. It's fantastic. Sorry about the sound problems. That was all Scott's fault, I swear.
It happens.
We decided it'd be cool to basically do a live Q&A since I did a live one in the UK like a week ago, a question and answer thing
right?
with Ben
Yeah.
Shenmue, who shout out to him. He'll be getting a second shout out here, thanks to Scott in a minute, but yeah, we're going to do some questions. So ask us questions, and we will do our best to answer. You can direct them at any of us or as group things, whatever you want. Shane looks like he'll be moderating since it's his computer, and I don't want to touch it. Whoa, he's blowing up the chat. Look at that.
He's blowing it up.
He's blowing it up. So, Shane, why don't you see what you can do? See if we can find anybody.
Okay, so somebody said, where in Canada? We're in Ontario right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ontario, Canada. So it's nice and warm right now.
It's a big
very
part
hot.
of Canada.
Yeah.
It's been a nice hot summer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Shane, that one's right at you. Look at that.
Which one? Shane, thanks for suggesting those stores when we talked on Saturday. Found some great import games. Well, there's a lot of really great import games or import stores for gaming in Ontario. And yeah, just down the road from where we were at Con Bravo, there's a game called One Up Games. And I love going to One Up Games, and they've got lots of really cool stuff.
Yeah,
I've done a couple of videos
awesome
on them. If
stuff.
you're curious, check the channel. I did videos on them.
Yeah.
Stores.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just saying.
No.
Give them a visual reference.
It's your show.
No,
Yeah.
it's our show, guys. It's our show tonight. Enjoy.
You got to do what I do, Shane. Get Adam to import my games for me.
Yeah, look,
Yes.
you want to talk about that? We could talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk
All
about
right,
That'd be
so
a good idea.
I just got back from Europe. I had the craziest fucking schedule over there because I had planned a trip over there, and I came back on the night of the 27th. While I was over there, I was basically like, hey, do you want to, they basically asked if I wanted to go over to Con Bravo, right? So I was like, oh, all right, sure, when is it? And they're like, oh, you'd have to be here on the 28th. So I landed in Chicago on the 27th and caught a flight 8 hours later for the 28th to come up here. So I haven't even slept in my own bed. I had to go to my mom's house and sleep there. It sucked. Anyway, so I'm tired.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point of all of this the point of all this is that I was over there doing a lot of game hunting, of course, and I found a bunch of PAL exclusives that were on this dude's list and some that weren't, and I forced him to buy them.
Yeah,
so, oh man, I fought so hard to get him to pick some of these up because he was stupid for not wanting some of them.
Yeah,
What
no,
did
I
you
like it
want
when you
them?
work for it.
You'll see. Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So he's going to show you some of these cool things we
Okay.
managed to pick up. And you'll see all the stuff I picked up in future videos, I promise you.
So I have a complete N64 loose cart collection. I wish I had it CIB.
Nerd.
Adam keeps going on and on about how there's only 4 PAL exclusives I need to get. So he finally convinced me that basically to get them. So I
Yeah.
got Taz Express, which I've always kind of wanted.
Go far in, man. Let them see the games. Well, you don't have to get up. Don't be that intense. Just go
Canadian.
reach.
What can I say? I'm polite.
Yeah.
They'll focus.
I don't feel like looking at your
Premier
ass,
Manager
man.
64.
Premier
and-
Manager 64. It's like Soccer Coach 64.
And F1 World Grand Prix 2. Now, we did get the first game, but we didn't get the second game.
Published by Video System.
Give him all the shame. Let him look. What's wrong with you?
Okay, no problem.
You're just being
The shame.
rude. I thought you were Canadian. What happened?
Adam knows I'm a big Ghostbusters fan, so he did pick me up the Commodore 64 version of Ghostbusters. Yeah, you guys can play with them.
This is all you, dude.
Set tape.
I found this on
Yep.
eBay when he was in England. And Ben, thank you for holding this for me.
Shenmue
I
sub.
love you. It's a Japanese version of New Ghostbusters 2, which I've always wanted. And coincidentally, Adam found me New Ghostbusters 2 on the NES, which I've always wanted. I still want it.
I have it CIB. I don't know
I
what
want
you're
it
doing.
CIB, but I'm very happy to have this.
Yeah, you're welcome, man.
Take a look.
I actually found a second copy. I tried to get him, but he told me to fuck off. So I was like, oh, all right then.
And he did pick me up some.
No. Keep that rubber band on. Keep that rubber band on.
Oh, it's too late. I took it off.
He doesn't understand how these PAL cases work. He doesn't know what he's doing.
I have no idea when it comes to PAL cases.
Hey, look
I
at him
got
shaking
Planet
while he's
Ring.
holding it now.
Yeah, well,
he doesn't know what he did. The thing is, PAL cases, you can break these with a feather. That's why the rubber band's on, because the case isn't going to hold together without it. So there you go. He got Planet Ring. These are all Dreamcast PAL exclusives. There's only 24 of them total, and I managed to get a couple of the cheap ones off the list.
I have no idea who Jimmy White is.
But that's Jimmy White
now,
2.
now I have his game.
Yeah, no, this is his second game. Jimmy White's 2 Cue Ball.
And
Whatever.
Who Wants to Play a Millionaire?
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Be a millionaire. It's still not going to make me a millionaire. But,
It is not.
And this actually looks like a pretty fun game. Toy
Yeah,
Racer.
no, this. Remember we talked about Toy Commander?
Yes.
This is part of that. It's not a
I
sequel.
didn't even know this existed.
It's
oh
not.
my god.
It's not a sequel, but it's like the same universe.
Oh, it's by No Cliche as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. I told you, but it was a PAL exclusive.
Oh, Toy Commander's like one of my favorite games. I had no idea they made a racing game.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll play it later.
yeah, we can check
Why
it
not?
out.
Oh.
And I got Headhunter. Apparently, this is an awesome game.
Yeah, that was Sega's answer to Metal Gear Solid. It
Yeah.
wasn't as good, but it
And,
was definitely worthwhile
And
to
the
get.
sequel to Headhunter came out on on Xbox.
Xbox, yeah.
yeah.
Headhunter Redemption. Headhunter did come out in North America, but only on PlayStation 2.
And the big one is I finally got Shenmue 2 for
Dude,
PAL.
you have no idea how hard I had to fight to get in this. I found it for £60 at Retro World in Derby, which is obviously in the UK. And £60 is currently is about $80 US, about $100 Canadian.
It's more than that. But yeah,
I was like, I defy you to find it cheaper. And he's like, no, man, I don't want it.
I have it
Fought so hard to get.
I
him to
didn't know
take
it was
that
a good
deal.
price, to be fair. And
Even though I kept telling him this is a really good price, he'd be
yeah,
retarded
Adam's
not
a
to
good
do
buddy
it.
of mine, so I took his word for it.
And-
But I have it for Xbox. I have the Japanese version.
Yeah.
Version for
But now you have the actual version.
Yeah.
yes.
So
now I have it all, and
Yeah.
that's quite the stash you got me. Thank you, Adam. I love you.
No, don't touch me. That's
Okay.
fine. It's all right.
I don't want him to stop getting me video games.
So there's some questions
Oh,
coming in.
and
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
one more thing. I'm 27 games down to a complete CIB Dreamcast set.
Very nice.
Wow.
27 games left.
Yeah. But
Uh,
he doesn't have the PAL stuff yet. There's only 24. That one's doable. Japanese, I wouldn't blame you if you didn't pursue it. But 24 PAL. And you
yeah.
look how many you made a dent in. You actually now have 2 of the 4 hardest.
Nice.
So Rez, not any connection here, is the other one, and suddenly I'm spacing out. Taxi 2, Le Dieu. You
Oh,
would
is
like
that
that.
the
'cause
French- is that
You'd
the-
like that one. It's French.
Nice.
Yeah. This
Too
guy
bad.
loves the French language.
Yeah, I do. I'm terrible.
But that one's really hard because it was only released in France. That's what makes it.
You're Adam Koralik. You can do anything.
I'm
Please
not.
find me.
I
that
have no
game.
plans to go to France. Remy, my buddy, he's on my podcast. You're in France. You hook us up. You find a copy of Taxi 2 Le Dieu. You can do it. How do you guys say
Thank
that?
you.
Because I know I'm saying it wrong.
You can do it.
No, Le Dieu.
Les Jeux.
There you go.
Le Dieu?
You did it.
Les Jeux.
Because they're
Yeah.
Canadian, so they know French. That's how it works.
I do not know French.
No,
Yeah.
neither do I.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Let's get on to some questions here.
There was a question that just popped by. I think it was asking all of us what we felt about Titanfall 2.
I don't care.
Well, I actually got Titanfall because I got an Xbox One on release date.
I played it on PC myself. So
I liked it a lot, but the fact that it didn't have a single player campaign for me, I fell off that game too quickly.
I heard Titanfall 2 is going to actually have a single player campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So-
pre-ordered that based on that fact. 'Cause
Hey.
that was my complaint.
Happy console gamers watching. What up, Johnny? What's up?
How's it going?
There he is.
Hey, wait, do what he said.
Shenmue.
Shenmue.
He wanted
Shenmue.
he wanted him to say Shenmue.
Shenmue 3's coming out?
Shenmue?
Is it Shenmue 3?
Yeah, Shenmue. Shenhu.
Oh,
Shenhu 3.
Shenmue.
Shane. It's just my name.
Shane who?
Shane who?
Shane who?
Yeah.
Shane who?
Shenhu.
Shane who 3.
Shane who 3. That's
All
right.
right.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to give a shout out to him.
I'm excited for Titanfall 2. I think it's going to be a really cool game. I really like the multiplayer of Titanfall 1. I really don't feel there needs to be a story in Titanfall because who the hell gives a care? It's a multiplayer game, right?
Who gives a care?
Who
That's
cares?
an idiom. That is a canidium.
Okay. Who gives a fuck about Titanfall multiplayer?
Thank you. Now it makes
I
sense
just found
to
that
my
if you're
ears.
paying full price for the game,
Yeah.
it's got to have a little bit more value.
Yeah.
Especially in Canada because they keep raising the price in new games.
Eventually we're going to have to sell our house just to buy games.
That's if
I
you
guess.
can buy a house. Because around here, houses are
Yeah, they're
very
pretty
expensive.
too. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that the exchange rate, really, man. Like, you can buy a house for peanuts now.
Just hook us up with
I'll
those
give you like a
greenbacks.
$5 bill US. You go buy a house.
Fine, I'll do it.
All right. Let's see here.
What do you think about the Xbox One S?
I actually have a video coming out on that in a couple of days, so I'll save it for that.
If I had a 4K TV, I'd probably buy it.
Yeah.
Well,
Just because I love 4K Blu-rays. My friend has one, and they look fantastic.
Christopher Broom, look what he said. That's all you, dude.
Christopher Brown. Adam, thanks for plugging Rerez so much lately. He's fucking rad. Well, thank you, Christopher.
We've been hanging out with him all weekend. He
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I can attest to that.
We've been going to restaurants together, and we've been like
Let's
sharing...
tell them about that.
Okay, all right, let's do it.
You do it. You got this.
So this is unfortunate, but as many people know, Adam here is from a wonderful city, the Windy City, Chicago. So,
Yeah, I brought Scott there once.
so
I tried to bring him, but
The
It was a good
last time Adam and I hung out, we were in Pennsylvania, and there was a Chicago-style pizza restaurant that my wife and I wanted to actually go to. So when we went there, Adam came with us because we thought Adam would be the great mediator. He'd be like, okay, yes or no for this pizza place.
yeah, for the quality of the pizza, how does it rank compared to home?
So he gave it a no where we went. It was
essentially frozen.
yeah, right.
It was like frozen pizza.
So he wasn't
Frozen
happy.
pizza sucks.
Yeah, but they considered it like, no, this is legit. It's fresh. I was like, dude, this is fucking frozen. I know this shit.
So we went to Hamilton, Ontario, and in Hamilton at Con Bravo, my wife and I, we wanted to go to a pizza restaurant, and we just found out that there was a pizza restaurant that was opened up by a chef that moved in from Chicago who knows how to make Chicago deep style, or is it deep dish?
There's deep dish and there's stuffed.
Stuffed. So
They're two different
Would this
styles.
be stuffed that we had?
They described it as stuffed, and I think I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It was stuffed, but
So,
there is a
yeah.
difference.
So we actually had it. So now let me make this clear. Adam talks, and sometimes I don't listen because sometimes he said, "Oh, don't eat too much food," and we're like, "Of course we're gonna. It's pizza. We're gonna have a salad beforehand. We're gonna have some deep fried mushrooms. We're gonna have all this stuff." That was a mistake.
I learned that in Chicago.
I did not learn my lesson at all. Yesterday I learned my lesson.
Here's the other thing I told you was traditionally stuffed and deep dish is just supposed to be cheese pizza. I know that sounds bland to most people because they think of normal pizza and they're like, why would you want just cheese? With stuffed and deep dish, it's supposed to be just cheese. You certainly can add things, but it's not recommended. Told him this, and then what happened?
So we got garlic, green peppers, and mushroom in the pizza. Now, the first thing is, one, even with all that, it tasted great. Okay, I loved what I had. It was fantastic. Adam, you ranked it on like a 6 of all the ones you had?
I would say it was of the deep dishes I am personally familiar with. I would give it the 6th ranking, which is actually pretty good. It's easily the best pizza I have had.
That's better than I expected.
Yeah, that is easily the best pizza I've had in Canada. But we're talking about specifically deep dish, not just pizza overall.
Yeah.
Or deep dish / stuffed.
So what ended up happening was the pizza we got. Now with a deep dish pizza, because a deep dish pizza is about that thick. Okay, like it is.
It's a beast.
It's a
it's
beast.
thick.
Yeah, like that sucker was not going down. We had like a small little pizza. It was half each.
It's actually difficult to eat it the first time because we're used to our pizza.
Yeah.
When you get it,
here's the thing.
How do you do this?
You have to understand with Chicago style or deep dish pizza / stuffed, what's considered a small would be by most standards a large or at the very least a medium. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of food.
I couldn't finish it. Finish it on a good day. Small.
It was insane. If the pizza was just left to me, it would have been bad. But the problem was, Everyone else got normal things in their pizza, like maybe some Italian sausage or like, ground beef, whatever it is, stuff that you can normally have in a stuffed crust pizza. What we did, though, is we put in those vegetables. Now, when they cook it, everything cooks, but the pepper, the green pepper, the mushroom, and the garlic does not cook. It just gets slightly warmed. That's all that happened.
Oh, wow.
So we were taking huge chunks of raw garlic. And
Ooh.
I love garlic, but when I went to bed, I gargled my mouth with like a mouthwash, antiseptic stuff, brushed my teeth. Went to bed, I woke up, I could still taste the pizza. Raw garlic was like 3 cloves at least. I could taste it all night, and it was insane.
It was so good though.
Oh, it was amazing.
None of us finished half.
Yeah,
half of one pizza.
Nobody.
We couldn't even do it.
The two of them, you and your wife combined, you did take yours down.
We took one pizza.
But that was
down.
one small, and the rest of us took about half a small. So I mean, really, you took half. But combined, you were the only ones who didn't have leftovers.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. But how would you rank it compared to the one you had in Chicago? Because I took him to a place in Chicago called Lou Malnati's. If you're not from there, you tend to call it Illuminati, but that's not correct. But
it was a very good pizza place, but it wasn't as good as Chicago, which is not surprising. I mean,
no. Oh, you're saying the one in Chicago was
one
better.
in Chicago was way better.
Yeah,
but it was great.
Happy console gamers watching, because it's an epic pizza. Johnny, just so you know, this pizza was so filling that I didn't get cake afterwards. And you know me, man. You know I'm all about desserts. Couldn't do it at all. And I've been like sick to my stomach. Then I get a cheesecake. You know what I mean? Like, and I could not do it. That's how much.
That's like Cheesecake Factory.
This dude was so into cheesecake. He was considering us driving out to Buffalo, crossing the border back into the States, so he could have fucking cheesecake last night before he had the pizza.
Yeah.
And then he was done. He was. Yeah, Johnny, come out to Chicago. We'll all come out to Chicago. We'll all have pizza. It'll be great. You can come out, man. All right. Let's answer some more questions, not just talk about food the whole time.
Yeah.
All right. You lead us off, man. Take your pick. You party.
So let's see. Gino's East Sun best.
Oh, this is a good question for you.
What CRT monitor is that? Oh, okay. So this is a Sony Trinitron PVM. So I can't really pull it down right now, but but it's a PVM monitor. It's one of the little tiny broadcast monitors. The reason I picked this up is because it's got the cleanest signal for retro video games that you're ever gonna find without using an upscaler like a FrameMeister or anything like that. It's a beautiful little thing. You know what? Let's spoil this one out because I think it's gonna be a big deal. A lot of smaller television stations, left and right, are closing down, or they're upgrading to high definition or 4K. So these monitors here are being sold at like swaps and liquidation centers for dirt cheap because nobody wants them. So if you search up on just Craigslist or anything like that, you'll probably find somebody selling one of these things, and they'll probably be asking something ridiculous like $5 or $10. You can get it, and then it runs everything so well, and it's really, really cheap. You can even find this exact model here with batteries on the back, so you can plug it, because it's a field monitor, so you can actually plug in batteries, take it somewhere, and actually just plug it in and just play it like in the back of your car.
Gaming on the go. It's a way to do it.
I mean, obviously, it's a little bit heavier than probably one should be portable, but they're really neat. You can find ones with RGB breakouts at the back, so you can put in a signal, a really high-quality signal straight from your older video game systems. They're wonderful, wonderful monitors. I could not recommend them more.
Awesome.
And they last forever. And it's not like a really shitty TV you get. Like, these ones were made to be turned on 24/7. They last a long, long time.
He's got an even bigger one over there.
Yeah.
Steve Hutch says, me and my girlfriend have a Sorel addiction. I think that was my fault. Sorel is a Turkish version of Nutella. It's like the real stuff.
Really?
And I got sent a bottle of it, and I was trying it. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to import just because, you know.
So quite obviously, none of us do video games. This is all just food talk now, right?
Yeah,
dude, food is awesome.
Yeah,
we should all know.
not everybody.
We're gonna have to eat after this.
Yeah.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
We're gonna go get Indian food.
Mm.
Indian food up here, man, way better than I can get at home. Yeah, and I had some in the UK that was fucking unreal. Yeah. All right, we gotta stop talking about food. There is this video game thing we kind of do. Yeah. Let's see.
We get a Dreamcast Mini like the new NES Mini.
No.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, and stop saying that those Genesis at game fire core.
I got one of those in there.
Do
Those
it.
are garbage.
Yeah.
No, but dispel the rumor now.
No,
Everyone
go
thinks-
ahead.
Yeah,
He has the most passion about it,
Oh
but
my
I'm
God.
totally 1,000% on your fucking side.
I hate this. So when the NES Mini was announced, a lot of these companies started going, "Oh, we've got Sega Genesis Minis." Whatever you hear about it, it's from At Games. Avoid them like the fucking
Terrible.
plague.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
things are unbelievably bad. Imagine playing Sonic the Hedgehog and somebody's taking a hammer and smacking you on the back of the head. That's what it's like playing games on that thing. It's unbelievable. The sound quality's off. The emulation timing is off. And what's really crazy is because of how poor they've actually made the system run Sega games.
It's a cheap product.
It
of
really
course,
is.
it's
Yeah.
a budget thing.
It's got Comic Zone in it, and when you turn on Comic Zone, the layers of the animations play out of sync. So when like at the very beginning, when the lightning bolt happens, when like it's going over the cityscape, you'll actually see the lightning bolt jump in front of the frame, which is really bad when you're playing Comic Zone because the entire game takes place on multiple frame animation levels. So there's actually huge problems to playing that game. None of it's addressed. None of it's fixed. Even if they say something like, "This is the 25th anniversary. It's really good." Avoid it. It's really, really awful.
Yeah, don't support. That's why I don't ever buy fucking clone consoles. Most of them are total bullshit. The only one I know of that was any good was Atari Flashback 2, but that's just because it had a really unique situation.
Yeah, well, actually, I think I got one of those down
Yeah,
here.
the Atari Flashback 2 is cool because the guy who made it really cared about Atari, and he made
I
like
got
a.
these things, like the paddle stuff.
Couldn't you hack those to play the
Yeah,
original
that's why
card?
he
Yeah.
actually specifically designed them so
Yeah,
you could
that's why
put a
they're
cartridge
awesome.
slot in. He basically made a very
These ones are just
tiny.
the plug and play
It might
ones.
as well be a totally new revision of the 2600, like an official one. I'm not talking about these.
No, you're talking about the actual one. That you
Like
put
the
in
one.
cartridges, yeah.
Well, you can mod it for cartridges.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only worthwhile clone console as far as I'm concerned. And I know people even ask. I don't care about things like the Retron 5. I don't give a fuck about them. I
me
know
neither.
I know you have some.
He's one right
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Retron 5.
So, but
So we got the Retron 5. I mean, I love what the Retron 5 does for people that don't want to go out and buy a Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and all that stuff. They want to play it on their modern TVs without much of a headache. Like, I get what that is, but it does not replace what the original systems do. It's just impossible. It's like it's not even close. It's software, the whole thing. You know.
Yeah. Somebody was asking, they know what Adam's favorite console is, but they want to know what Shane and myself's favorite console is.
yeah.
Go ahead, Shane.
Dreamcast.
All right, this is
Yeah.
a smart man. Let
I
me
mean,
see
like-
what this guy says.
I wouldn't say I have an exact favorite. Like in high school, we played N64 all the time, Dreamcast. If it's gonna come back to nostalgia, I think it's the Super Nintendo when I was growing
That's
up.
not a bad choice.
Yeah, it's not
Every
Not
day
a
going to
bad choice.
school, everybody talking about the newest games out, everybody sharing information, lending games. There's so many great games for that system.
Like, I'm a PC gamer from the early 90s, and when I say PC, I'm not just limiting it to Windows and DOS. I mean Amiga and like all those other systems that were coming out at the time. I've played a lot of PC games and I love that, but the Dreamcast has a killer library of games. I think it's really unrivaled simply because where there's a lot of consoles out there that have a lot of crapware, a lot of thrown in stuff. The Dreamcast died on the top. It died at its absolute prime. It didn't die because it had bad games. It died simply because of bad management from Sega. That's really the only reason. And PlayStation 2 with a big giant axe hitting in the back. Outside of that, it really was a fantastic system, and you can't go wrong with buying games. I mean, if you really think about it, in the UK, what was one of the last games that come out on it? Shenmue 2. So it's like,
Yeah.
Hey, cameos.
like when you think of like, go look at like last games for systems, and you're not gonna find this. You're gonna find things like Mr. Toad's Magic Wild Ride and shit like that.
Adam and I were just talking about this. The
Yeah.
last Super Nintendo game was Frogger.
Yeah, we actually
Frogger of all games.
Yeah, we were checking out lists of like what the final games for most consoles were. Frogger somehow ended up being the last SNES and Genesis game. I don't know
Tony
how the
Hawk.
Tony
Pro
Hawk
Skater
3
3.
was N64. If you're talking about Dreamcast all time, it was Karos, which is a shmup in Japan.
In America, it was NHL 2K2, I believe.
Yeah, but there was a whole. That's a slightly different story because Europe, they kept going for a few more months beyond us. So that's how they ended up with Shenmue 2 and Headhunter and Rez. That's a fucking good
Wow.
end
Yeah,
game.
right?
We didn't have that. We got Peter Moore, who's a piece of shit and screwed us all over in North America. But yeah, hey, see, literally, we already had someone say that before I even had the chance. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, so I think that's a good point on why the Dreamcast was so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
What HD collections do we want to see? Like if you could, well, first of all,
Shenmue,
the obvious
obviously.
answer.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
obvious
yeah,
fucking
that's
answer.
one.
I wanted to say it before you did.
It was obvious. You didn't
Yeah.
even have to. Man, I would like.
GoldenEye for
Yeah,
N64.
well, good luck
which,
with that
if
one.
they can ever figure out the legal thing.
I talked to a Rare employee last year at Gamescom, and he basically told me like, no, it's never gonna happen.
You know what? That would be an awesome title for Nintendo's new console if they could figure that out.
No,
It's never gonna happen.
I would actually. What I would really like to see is a really large like GameCube compilation. Like take a lot of the primo GameCube title. Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. Not that that counts because it's not by
Yeah.
Nintendo. But I'd like to see a lot of those primo hits like re-released.
I would really love to see. Now I'm like. I really like import games to a really large extent. I would love to see one of the later versions of Snatcher with the more like Snatcher didn't always use the Sega CD art. There were other versions released that have kind of better artwork designs.
The Saturn version, right?
Saturn
Yeah.
one, yeah. I'd love to see that done in high definition. I'd love to see the Police Knots version or of the. You know what really sucks? Police Knots not really easy to come across of North America or Europe or anywhere outside of Japan really. But Police Knots has the PlayStation version and the 3DO version, and I played both, and I swear the 3DO version has better graphics.
Have you played the Saturn version?
Never played the Saturn. Might be better. Might be better. The 3DO was just so clear and crisp, and the PlayStation one just seemed like a step down. I have no idea why, and obviously we're never gonna see those ever re-released again.
Anything with Kojima's name on it.
Yeah,
Done, buried.
But it's like.
But I'll throw this out to you, a little curveball, because people were asking about the Saturn being cracked and stuff. I think that opens the window to a lot of those Saturn versions being patched and translated to English. Like there are a couple.
That would be so
there
good.
are a couple, like Dragon Force 2. We had Dragon Force 1 here, RPG, right? There was Dragon Force 2 in Japan, and only just recently they translated it and patched it to English. Now, you can burn it, but now, because of that hack, I think you're going to start seeing more people actually giving a fuck and doing this.
Thank you to everybody that does that.
Yeah, you guys are the best.
They never get enough credit, but they do amazing work.
Boy, you know what else I think I'd really like to see? And I know it's like wishful thinking, but Clockwork Knight.
Yeah,
Because just
I
love the design of Clockwork Knight, and honestly, now that you're seeing Saturn really get cracked, I think we might see something cool happen.
You know the saddest part though, you may or may not know this. A lot of the Saturn games, particularly the Sega ones, the source code's lost.
Yeah. I know
Like
that one,
Panzer Dragoon Saga, source code's lost to it. They lost it.
Wow.
And that's really sad because they only released like 5,000, 10,000 copies in North America.
Like that, yeah.
It's a little more common in Europe, but not by much. And then in Japan, it's very easy to get, but it's not in English.
I'm just trying to think of something odd that I would like to see done in high definition, and I think, I honestly, as weird as this is, Half-Life for PlayStation 2 has a co-op mode that is unique to the PlayStation 2 version.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on any other version, and that one it's actually the storyline takes place the same time that Gordon Freeman's running around the complex. And you play as two female scientists that are basically it's like a co-op. It's like Portal 2 co-op.
Yeah.
In that extent. I would love to see that re-released on PC, so that people can play it. But
I would love just to see co-op come back.
Yeah.
I love having friends over and doing co-op, but these days
That's a rarity, man.
they took it out of Halo 5.
Yeah.
Very disappointing.
I was really upset. I got a friend that had we got a review copy of Halo 5. And I didn't read anything about it because I was like, it's Halo 5. Like, yes, I will review it. And I needed to do... I'm very specific about review copies, so I was very excited when we got it in. I was like, okay, I just got a bunch of Xbox One controllers. I called up my friend. I went, dude, guess what I have? And he's like, what? Halo 5. He's like, holy shit. And it's like, you got to come over because I'm not even kidding you. I need to play the multiplayer with you so that we can record it for the show. It's a part of the review process, so I can do this. And they're like, yeah. And he came over. We got everything together, turned on the system. Doesn't do co-op. Or split screen at all. And I was like, fuck. And of course, it's like one of the lowest selling Halo titles ever. We'll wonder why.
I know a few people that didn't buy it based on that fact.
Yeah.
So I'm going to power through a couple of questions here. This one, Scott, you can actually answer. Guy's asking, what do we think of Mega Replay? That's the one in Fort Wayne, Indiana. The one where the car broke down?
Oh, yes. That's where I picked up a few Dreamcast systems. I picked up a couple GameCube games. I picked up a couple Dreamcast games.
What do you think of the store overall?
Big.
Yeah,
Like
it's
big
disc replay.
store.
It's kind of like CEX. If you guys are in Europe, you guys know what those are. How would you describe it as something for Canadians?
it's like 5 times the size of a regular game store. Like,
Oh,
it's
like a
huge,
GameStop.
maybe even bigger. Huge. It took us a long time just to
Oh yeah.
get through everything.
Yeah, it's a cool store. I did a video on it like 3 years ago when I was all right. So I went out there. My story for that place was I had a friend living in Michigan. He went down to that store just kind of for the fuck of it, and he goes inside and he sends me a picture of a wall of boxed Saturn games, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" He's like, "This store has boxed Saturn games, a sea of them, and they're worthless. They just take up tons of space. They want them the hell out of this store." So everything's like marked way the hell down. And I was like, that's worth the drive, because that was like a 2.5 hour drive for me. So I went out there, I cleaned up. I picked up like fucking 80 Saturn games. It was amazing. And then we went, I was kind of hoping to see that again. Nah, they were all gone.
Very small Saturn selection.
Yeah, at
but
that point.
better than Canada. You don't see Saturn that often
No, you
here.
really don't.
Yeah.
Especially in like Ontario, it was not a popular system. I remember seeing them at Toys R Us when they were released. I remember I was with my dad and we went to Toys R Us and they had a Knights display set up so you could play Knights, and I was like, this is really neat. It's like it's the next system. But at the time, I was just like, Nintendo 64 and PlayStation and there's all these other systems. And I remember just Saturn didn't make an impact here. It didn't make a dent. And I don't remember anyone playing it. Everybody had an N64 or a PlayStation. That was it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember them getting marked down and people willing to pick them up. Because usually they mark everything down. They mark the games down and nothing.
God, this is sad.
Nothing. I don't know where they all went.
I know more people that owned a 3DO than a Saturn here.
I do too, actually, because 2 people on my street growing up had 3DOs.
That's insane, isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
I didn't know anybody.
Yeah, it could have been worse. There were other 5th gen consoles that were way less successful. You know, the Apple Pippin, proud owner right here. And then the Commodore Amiga CD32, which this guy has the boxed Canadian version. We never got that console in the States, ever. It was, and there's only like 10,000 of them released in all of Canada.
I couldn't tell you. I just know that one day I'll make a YouTube video on that.
Yeah, you got to do it one day.
Too many people are asking me, so
Yeah.
I'll get it done.
Yeah, one day, man, one day.
I'll need these guys' help, though.
Yeah, we'll show up, maybe. If we're not busy.
Yeah.
But I might have some calls I got to take instead. But no, we've had a few questions about Con Bravo. So the whole reason I'm up here is for Con Bravo, which was a convention in Hamilton. And it was, I had a lot of fun there. It was the first time I ever did it. But it was really cool. We had, 3 panels yesterday, this like autograph session thing. And then today we had a panel as well. I had a good time.
Yeah, no, it's Con Bravo is it's a convention I've been going to for the past 3 years now, I think. It's one of the very first conventions I ever went to as a guest. It's a lot of people just hanging out, and you're in the dead center of Hamilton. It was hilarious because we went out, we walked outside of the street. You guys were still inside, and my friend wanted to go out to actually Terrence from The Hook from Rerez. He really wanted to go out and just because we were indoors all day, and he wanted to go out into Hamilton and go to a park or something. And I was like, I don't think you want to do that. As soon as we left the door, a guy came up to us. Nobody knew who he was. And he went, "I am a fucking unicorn." And then we were like, okay. So we went back into the building, and then we decided to go and we went using the interior underground system in this one area to go around. Con Bravo is amazing. It's really fun to go to. There's tons of people there, a whole bunch of fandoms all over. There's people that are into anime, people that are into cosplay, people that are into board games. There's arcade setups there.
Vendor room.
Vendor room. Really big vendor room with a really big artist alley to see a whole bunch of different artists and stuff. It's really fun. It's one of the biggest conventions in Ontario for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I picked up some games there too. It was kind of cool because I kept running into people who recognized me from the channel, which was nice. And I want to give a couple shout outs. There's a guy named Wesley who actually recommended the convention to me in the first place. He sent me a message. He's like, "Have you ever heard of Con Bravo? It's in Hamilton." And I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm always looking for an excuse to go back up here." So
he wants to come see me.
Yeah,
a lot.
Alex,
It's okay. I like
Shane's
you too.
okay too. Hey, stuff. No, anyway, so I was looking for an excuse to come up, but then I checked out their website and I noticed he was on the guest list. So I was like, "Dude, should I go?" And you're like, "Yeah, you should go."
Yeah.
And here I am. But so I picked up I want to give a shout out to Wesley for that reason, and also because he just handed me like a bunch of games when I was there. He gave me a couple Famicom games and a couple Game Boy Color games. You guys will see them later. And later I was walking around the convention floor and I came up to the Super 1-Up booth.
Yeah.
And I found a couple games I wanted to get. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get these. And I went to get my card, to pay for it. And out of nowhere, the guy's like, it's covered. And I'm like, oh, why? He's like, that guy over there is buying your games. And I was like, what? And I looked over, this guy named Roberto. He goes by the Twitter handle Mini Ninjas. And he was like, yeah, I'm a big fan of your channel. I've cleaned up a lot of game consoles thanks to you. And it felt like I owed you something. So here you go. And I was like, dude, no, you don't have to. But it was, anyway, point is, I got these games. It was fucking awesome. And
Super nice guys.
Yeah, really nice guys.
Fun to talk
There was
to.
a lot of nice people at the convention who watched the channel. His channel, my channel, not your channel. I don't think anybody said your video. But he did get recognized as Scott the Canadian. And
Yeah, very nice
that's
people.
really, really fun to watch.
I was
amongst other
confused at the
Canadians.
beginning, but yeah.
Amongst other Canadians, it's funny to see them call him Scott the Canadian.
Yeah, I think the last time I went to Con Bravo, my channel was probably half the size it is now. So when I was walking around this time, people were walking up to me saying hi and stuff, and it's crazy. Like it's.
I just thought it because you're good looking. But
Oh,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
Yeah, no. It's neat. And like honestly, at Con Bravo, everyone's so friendly, and there's nobody is like exclude. Like you can't talk to anybody there. You know what I mean? It's like everyone talks. Everyone's having a fun time. Even the panels that happen, it's more like a discussion with everybody rather
It was
than
very engaging.
yeah.
Very engaging.
It actually is a lot like this, like what
Yeah,
you're watching
yeah.
right now. These are our panels, except it's a full live like audience instead of through the
It's
internet.
basically
But
shooting the shit.
yeah, it's fun.
basically.
It's really very cool. And it was also an honor to do a panel with Fred Savage. So,
That does happen.
You wanna
It was
explain-
actually an honor-
Explain that one.
Oh, yeah.
It was an honor to watch Fred Savage.
Dude, Fred Savage and Alfred Molina. I'm
Yeah.
Spider-Man. I'm Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2.
On Rerez, I get a message at least once a day from people saying I'm Fred Savage or Christian Slater every single
Christian
day.
Slater?
Christian Slater. I don't see any of it at all, but it keeps coming up, and it's like I don't know if it's trying to be
I
an
could-
insult or.
I could kind of see like really tanned Fred Savage, but not Christian Slater.
It was funny because when we were on the
Yeah.
when we were on the stage, somebody in the front row went, "I loved you on the Wonder Years," and I was like, "Okay, thanks, man." Like I don't see it at all, but I guess whatever.
Yeah, no, that was pretty cool. What do you guys prefer, the Sega CD or the Sega Saturn? I'm going Saturn.
Saturn.
Sorry, which one?
Sega CD or Saturn? Preference.
Saturn has a bigger library.
I'm gonna go Sega CD.
See, now
I think
that's
the CD
diversity.
I think the Sega
Yeah.
CD.
But you also admit you've never really played the Saturn.
I played the Saturn a little bit, and I think there's a lot of cool stuff on there. But for me, the Sega CD is this interesting concept where it was still utilizing the Sega Genesis era of graphics,
Mm-hmm.
but using a lot more space. So I think the limits of what the Sega CD could have done was not tapped at that point.
I agree completely.
Yeah,
I did a
Sonic
video
CD.
all about that.
Sonic CD is probably the best
Dude,
Sonic game.
I did a video completely defending the Sega CD, basically explaining like, look, the hardware was there. It's just that people used it as like a shitty version to play movies. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
That's not what the
Sewer
console
Shark?
was intended
Yeah, yeah.
for.
I mean, I think like Snatcher showcases what they really want to do with that, and Snatcher feels like an interactive movie with a whole bunch of stuff going on. But there are some really interesting games on the Sega CD that are worth trying. I mean, there were games you were getting on the Amiga and the PC that Sega CD could operate, like Dune, and not Doom, D-O-O-M, but D-U-N-E, which is this amazing little experience game, which is part RTS, part interactive adventure game. And that's something that completely can't exist on any other platform outside of that one. It's just really interesting.
I just saw the question I wanted. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Whoa, this is perfect for you. What system did you hate the most?
So
I'm just unleashing a tiger right here.
I'll let you guys go first.
Well, you got if we're talking like not including like shitty like clone console garbage, like if we're talking just like the mainstream ones, my answer still remains the Nintendo Wii. I'm sorry, I know it's not a popular opinion. I fucking hate that console because like even though there's a handful of gems on that thing, I can't get into them because I hate using like a magic wand that I have to wave around. I don't enjoy it. It's not fun for me. It's more like, wow, this is annoying. And then the vast majority of the library is shovelware. And yes, I know people are going to start throwing out games they like, and that's fine. I didn't like them on the simple basis that I fucking hated that controller. You give me, if you want to give a good example of a game on that console I did like, it was Mario Kart Wii. Why? Because I could use a fucking GameCube controller. That's it. It was like, oh, it's a great game. On the console, that would have been fine if I didn't have to always use a stupid fucking Wiimote.
There's no way they could have got away with Mario Kart Wii without a controller.
Well, they
There's no
tried.
way.
You can play it
Yeah,
with the Wiimote.
The steering wheel does work a little bit, but I prefer hardened controls. I always will. I always will prefer a button or a joystick or a D-pad compared to motion controls, unless it's like
absolutely.
VR now. But like,
And most people gave up on that. My answer is I don't have anything that I hate, but there's a lot of consoles
Such
I
a
just
good
can't.
Canadian.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking open up the door,
it's,
man.
It's just I have to
I
carry.
make
I have to
up
carry
for
too
you,
much.
dude. I make
Yeah,
up for you,
you
don't
can make
even
up for
worry.
me.
I also found
was-
the only 2 Canadians on the planet that don't like Tim Hortons.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
A
but-
double just kills a coffee. You got to drink it black.
Yeah, man.
I didn't mean to
Gotta
distract
drink
it.
it
I just
black.
like the common. You know,
I was never a big fan of. I'd probably say PS2. I never got into it. I
Oh,
just
that's
couldn't
just
get
heresy.
into it.
oh man!
know.
Oh
Look,
god!
Everyone's unsubscribing. What did
no,
you do?
no,
What
I didn't
did you
say it.
do?
I swear
He
it wasn't
didn't
me.
say
It
anything.
wasn't
was
me.
that guy.
It wasn't
was
me.
that guy.
It wasn't me. I
Can
didn't
I
say
explain? Can I explain?
it. But they're gone now. They left.
all the
That's it.
PS2 games I wanted to play were on the original Xbox, and they were always better on the original Xbox. That's the simple
actually-
reason.
Fair
Original
point, fair
Xbox.
point.
No, it's the thing is, I don't actually disagree with them.
No, I
but I
don't.
don't hate the PS2 by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm not an RPG guy. If I was, PS2 would probably be my favorite system.
I
Yeah,
think
I'm right there with you.
PS2 has a really great library, but when it came to third-party things, you always want to play those games on the Xbox because the Xbox generally had better performing hardware. So, you know, like any of those multi-platform 007 games they made at that point, if you're into those games, it's always better to get them on the Xbox just because they look a little bit better.
Also, 4 controller ports. Not
Yes.
many people
That's
had.
a really good point, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And GameCube had 4 controller ports.
All the 6th-gen
Yeah.
consoles except the PS2 had 4
Came out
controller
first
ports.
though. But
Dreamcast.
N64 had it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
N64 had it even though it's 5th gen. Dreamcast had it first 6th gen. PS2 only 2 ports, and then GameCube and Xbox both had 4 ports.
And PS.
Sony never released a console with more than 2 ports. It never,
Yeah,
and
never happened.
until they started doing it's like, oh, well, we just have Bluetooth, so you don't even need ports. It's like,
Do you
yeah,
think that's a
we-
cultural thing though?
The culture, I think
No,
Based on-
I
I
can't
I
be
think
Sega and
No, based against Japan against America, like
No.
multiplayer games.
Bullshit.
No,
No?
think of,
No,
well,
because-
Nintendo and Sega are both Japanese. They put 4 ports in there.
See,
Yeah.
a lot of people like to say, well, so Sony can sell the adapters so people can play multiplayer. You know, that's bullshit. Okay, Sony was such a dumb company in that move. Just think about this. If you owned a GameCube or you owned an Xbox, you were more likely to buy 4 controllers. If you owned a PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2, you were more likely to own a second controller. So that's what ended up happening. People would only get 1 or 2 controllers for the PlayStation, and that's it. When you have more ports, it's like, oh, I should go out and buy more controllers. That's like the best thing about having multiple ports, but they never figured that out.
Yeah, they should have done it.
Now, I'm still waiting for your answer.
Okay, so
This is going to be fun. If we had actual good coffee, we went to
You want
second.
to leave and get a coffee?
Dude, we could
while
go to
this
Second
happens?
Cup. Second Cup is good Canadian coffee. Go there. Don't go to fucking bullshit Tim Hortons.
all right. So I have a series on Rerez called The Worst Console Ever. So there are 2 consoles. The worst console ever was called the Wireless 60, and I thought it was so bad they couldn't possibly ever make anything about it, so I called it the worst console ever. Directly after that, I discovered that they made a sequel to it called the Wireless Air 60, which, believe it or not, is a knockoff Kinect, which is so bad because even Microsoft couldn't get the Kinect to work, and this company didn't even try. So Worst Console Ever 2 is what I consider the Wireless Air 60, and it is incredibly, incredibly bad. But little did anyone know that I only assumed that those were the only 2 consoles that exist. There is another one, and it is sitting right over there, and it's going to be Worst Console Ever 3. And I didn't even think I would ever have to... It's that dog chewed-up box there.
Nice.
I didn't even know it existed.
Even the dog didn't like it.
No,
Are
no.
we allowed to show it?
No,
I don't
not
blame
yet.
you. All right.
It's going to be
That's going to be
special.
exclusive.
Stay tuned.
You got it. Yeah. Stay tuned to the Rerez TV channel.
This console, man. I was at ANC Games, and we were in the... I was there... Believe it or not, I was with Mike Matei and Ryan Schott from Cinemassacre.
Sorry, you dropped a name there.
No, it was just because we just happened to be there, and I was spending time with them, you know, because like fanboying, whatever. And then we were in the back room, and then I see this box.
Oh, you were in the
off
back room,
corner.
Mike. Did you give him a handy?
Oh yes.
Oh,
my
that
God.
explains it so much now.
The rumors are true.
Yeah, I figured.
ANC Games in the back. I see this box, and I'm like, well, that's not what I think it is. There's just no way that can't exist. And then I walk up closer, and I go, oh my God. And the reason why I was in the back was because they had it on a pile of all the shit they were going to throw out. So this
And that's their
console-
specialty. Finding stuff that people don't
Yeah,
like.
it is
Oh my
really,
God.
dude. I know. I don't mean to sidetrack you. You can get
Oh,
back
go
in a second.
ahead.
But
That's-
one
that's the
thing.
story.
All right, I game hunt with him a lot, and he's looking. I know what he's looking for. Game hunting with this guy is really fun because he picks up nothing but garbage. I pick up garbage. I pick up fucking PAL, PS2,
Just
used
assume the stuff you
exclusive
don't
shit,
want.
stuff that like nobody would ever rightfully want. This dude takes it to another level. It's
Yeah.
impressive. Why don't you can you tell him a couple? Can you rattle off a couple of your too many games things or
He's
stuff
blushing.
that you're okay about
so
talking
we found
about?
we found the Hori Pad 60, Mini Pad 64.
That's not a bad
no,
thing.
No. The bad things.
Which I'm jealous of, by the way.
what bad things did we pick up?
Stupid things. I don't know what to say and what not to say. So
I
I'm not
picked up a
gonna say it.
one-handed NES controller that is garbage. I picked up. I literally went around like, okay, I would go to a table and I go, what's the thing no one's gonna buy here today? And then they would go this, and then they would point to something stupid, and I go, no. What's the thing you brought here that you're gonna throw out if you don't sell at the table today? And they point to that, and I go, okay, I'll buy it. And I always do that because whatever that is, it's always the dumbest, stupidest thing in gaming, but there might be something really cool about it. And I love finding those oddities and rarity things. Like, there was a Super Nintendo exercise bike that was released in the 90s, and we found one, and we did an entire video on it. And I love finding that. I love finding... we did the Super Nintendo Entertainment Bike. We did the Sega Pods, which is a Sega electronic gaming system, which is 3 glowing orbs, and you move your hands over top of it. Came out the same time as the Sega Genesis, and it's all motion controlled, and it's really bizarre. And the funny thing was, when I find these things, the first thing I do is like, well, if I don't know any information about it, what does everyone do? You go to YouTube and you search it up to see videos. I didn't find any video on the Super Nintendo Bike. I didn't find any video on the Sega Pods, and a lot of the things you see on the channel are just things you just don't see anywhere else because no one's willing to buy that crazy crap.
And that's why you gotta watch Rerez, so you can
I
find
guess
that crap.
that would be the reason to watch if you want to see really stupid things.
You also gotta watch Adam.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You gotta watch Adam.
No, it's fine. I
when,
get it.
When you don't know how to clean a video game system, you watch Adam Koralik because he's got the best videos to show you how to do that. And don't even think, don't even undersell that, man.
No, I'm not.
I've literally have systems like this thing right here. Look at this. It is.
You obviously didn't watch my de-yellowing video, bitch.
No, I did. So we're going out to get we're making the gamer aid, and we're actually gonna go make it and everything. But I'm watching your video because the gamer aid.
Yeah, I know. You're making some?
You know what I mean. Like, we actually go to...
You're naming the series.
Oh, I thought you meant, like, dude, I'm making a fake bottle of it.
No. Oh, my God.
That'd be easy. You just take some Gatorade.
No, yeah, exactly. We're like, you go to watch the video, you learn how to pull it apart and put it and clean it properly. And that's why I'm doing it with this. Like, not this one just yet, but it's just because I've been busy.
Let me point something out with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
He took the sticker off. There was a sticker here, and he took it off. That's why there's a color variation.
Yeah, you know...
That's weird. I've never seen that before.
Here's 2 things about that. One, the yellowing. The best place to get the de-yellowing stuff is actually in Canada. At Sally's Beauty or something.
Oh, no. In Milton. By Toy
No, any of them. There's a chain apparently. I only know that because whatever. But there's a big they sell like a giant bottle of it for like nothing, and you just pour it on like basically. No, that's not a secret. I tell people this stuff. I want them to know, and I know you're not.
I don't want them to raise the price.
Oh, they're not gonna. They don't watch me. They're hair care people.
They should.
Yeah. No.
Because they found a new way to use their product.
Yeah, but they won't. But the other thing, I know you're not wrong about that. Because when I was at Too Many Games, like 9 times out of 10, dude, you're cleaning videos. That's what I want.
Yeah, man.
But the thing that always shocks me about that is like, how did you recognize me? Was it just the easy? You saw me walking around and you went like, those hands, I know those. Like, I never get that. That's the part that never makes any sense to me.
You just walk into a convention. Wait. Say something again. I'm Adam Koralik. Show me your hands.
Oh my God.
You're that guy. Well, it's like when I saw that video, then I went to go watch all your other videos to learn about you. I was watching your channel before Rerez, I think, was even a thing. Was even a dream in my head.
Yeah, I found out recently I'm OG.
Yeah.
I'm Original Gangster. I've been doing this since 2009. I'm like one of the few people still doing it since 2009. I'm like, how sad is that?
I want to test to his cleaning skills because he cleaned for my Dreamcast.
I did, and I'm gonna clean his GameCube tonight.
Yeah, you got to clean that GameCube.
That's sexual innuendo.
It is. That is exactly what that is. Oh, you want to tell him about your sweet GameCube pickup?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to find a GameCube with a Game Boy player for 30 Canadian. That's like 5 cents American.
Yeah, no, easy. I could give him a quarter. He'll give me change.
Missing the Game Boy player disc, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck ever finding one of those.
Hopefully I can find one, but
burn it. I'm kidding. Don't do that.
It won't work. Illegal. I don't think it'll work.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's a hard one,
unless you modify it or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so let's. There was a question there a while ago that I wanted to answer about the PlayStation Nintendo prototype. Just like what our thoughts on it. First of all, I did a video on that a while ago when that news first came out. You can check that out if you want. Secondly, that prototype apparently is going to be at a video game con in New Jersey this September. I may or may not be a guest. Okay, I'm a guest, but I'll check it out there. So that's my opinion on it. I want to try it. Oh, and Ben Heck fixed it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Ben Heck actually fixed it. Yeah.
Very interesting video.
I mean, I don't know what you're going to do to run off that thing.
They released a game. Somebody released a game that was supposed to run on it, like a fan hack.
Plus, it does run the carts.
Yeah.
So there is that. It needs to be. They need to watch my videos on de-yellowing and fix it a little, but.
I don't know.
Oh, they wouldn't.
I
wouldn't actually
no,
suggest that.
Leave
Leave it alone.
Just because of what that is. If it was like a regular Super Nintendo,
I'm fucking with you. You
Because
both are like, no, dude, don't do it.
Yeah.
You just tapped our game nerd stuff. Like,
Sometimes the sarcasm. Sometimes the
Don't.
sarcasm is too strong.
Oh.
It must be a cultural thing. Oh, this I know you want to talk about this. NX Nvidia.
Okay.
Oh my God, you should have seen him when we went out to lunch.
The Nintendo NX is going to be a really neat system. Whatever happens is going to be something cool. However, guys, I want you to keep this in mind. If the NX is using a Tegra processor, a Tegra graphics chip, we've got some problems. Okay, we got some bad problems. Now, the rumor is that they're going to use the old Tegra T1, I think is what it's called. Now, I don't think, or K1 or whatever it's called, I don't think they're going to do that. If that ends up being true, you want to sell your Nintendo stock now. Like, you're going to want to get way out of town. The Tegra N1, or the Tegra T1, whatever that first system is, or that first chip is, that is a very underpowered device. It can play Doom 3 at 1080p at 60 frames per second, but that's a really old game. You know what I mean? Like, that's not something you really want to be like, oh, look what it can do. That chip is more underpowered than a Wii U. Like, it is really not that good. Plus, the Wii U, the GameCube, the Wii, what do all these things have in common?
PowerPC?
Yeah.
PowerPC. They're based off the PowerPC architecture from IBM, and that system is a very specific way you code stuff. Now, there is a way to emulate it and cross-emulate and stuff like that, but basically, if you're going to emulate PowerPC, you need to have an x86 architecture, because that's the only way I've ever seen it happen, and it was Apple that did that with the Macintosh line. If you're going to emulate PowerPC, you need a much faster processor in order to do the emulation backwards. And it really takes a lot of power, a lot of struggle. Things don't run exactly the same. So what that means is, if the NX comes out using a Tegra chip, it's going to have to be completely coded to run anything, which means it is not going to be backwards compatible with Wii U games, Wii games, or GameCube games. Now, Nintendo 64, everything before that, they would have to recode everything, redesign emulators and stuff from scratch. But, I mean, it's a nightmare to think about that. The controller itself is a dumb idea, because if that's the controller they're going to go with...
Oh, the detachable handles?
Yeah, the detachable handles. Now, guys, like, if you have a cell phone, many of us do, your cell phones are designed to fit in your pocket, okay? Like, what they were showing off was this massive thing that you have two controllers that hook onto the sides. I'm just like, are you insane? That's not what portable is. The 3DS can still fit in my pocket. It's big, but it can still fit in my pocket. What the NX needs to be, and this is simple, if Nintendo doesn't do this, they're stupidly insane. Make a sequel to the 3DS that has some kind of docking station that hooks up to your TV. Done.
Well, I don't even consider this a console. It's pick up where you go. It just
we don't know that yet. To be fair, this is all rumor mill.
If it becomes true, it's a portable console that hooks up to your TV.
But like, I don't think there's really anything wrong with that, because I love the idea of playing a game at home and taking it with you all the way out. But the problem is, right now, the investors for Nintendo are scared shitless of Nintendo, because a whole bunch of people that were investing in Nintendo just realized...
Oh, you got to explain the Pokemon Go thing. Like Pokemon Go. Nintendo stock skyrockets on the back of Pokemon Go. Then what happens?
I was so angry with this. So the Nintendo stock dropped hardcore, because a whole bunch of people were like, Pokemon Go's doing amazing. But who owns Pokemon? I did a video on Rerez 2 where I said, like, the video is literally me in my head, my hands going, who owns Pokemon Go? Because apparently nobody knew this. Pokemon Go is not actually owned by Nintendo.
Nor did they make it.
Pokemon Go is made by a company called Niantic. Niantic was originally a company that was owned by Google, but they sold them off. However, all the income that is earned from Niantic from Pokemon Go is split between Apple and Google, because they have their own individual online stores through their cell phones. Now, Pokemon Go itself is a licensed deal through the Pokemon Company. But even at that point, Pokemon Company is still not owned by Nintendo. It's a shared company with three parent companies, Creatures, Game Freak, and then Nintendo. So the amount of money that Nintendo actually made from Pokemon Go is shockingly small. So small to the point that Nintendo actually announced that they lost money during the Pokemon Go rise. Pokemon Go isn't going to get any bigger than this. This is its prime. It is its max. It's going to be this big for as long as it can be, and then it's going to fall down. If Nintendo cannot make money from Pokemon Go here, that means that they cannot make enough money from the Pokemon franchise, scaring the investors so much that they might actually pull out of Nintendo all the way, because if they release another product that isn't a mobile phone game, the investors cannot make money off that company, so they're basically going to go, well, we have to walk away. If you release a new system and it does not sell as well or do as well as Pokemon Go, Nintendo is a dead company. That's not like theories, that's just how the investors are going to operate, which sucks, because I love Nintendo, I love their products, I own a Wii U. The Wii U has the best games first party from any company this generation.
Agreed.
And Nintendo is in such a bad state because of this stuff. It is unbelievable.
This guy...
No third-party support.
Unbelievable.
He reminds you a little bit of me, doesn't he? Just like Canadian version.
Without the beard.
Without the... Dude, rock one. You got
but
some
then no one
stubble.
can tell us apart. Then
No,
suddenly
you're darker.
I got a little bit, but this is like 6 days. I'm like a little boy.
This is like...
It just doesn't come
This
out.
is like during the stream. Okay, let's see here. Oh, there's a shout out I want to give. There's a guy named This Is. He gave me a 32X and a Game Gear a while ago.
Sorry, JBG just said Nintendo gets 30% of Pokemon Go profits. No, they do not. See, that's the misconception. Nintendo gets 30% of Pokemon Company's profits to some degree. We don't even know how much they make from Pokemon Company directly, but Niantic makes the most money from Pokemon Go. That's all we know. We don't know what the licensing deal is between the Niantic and Pokemon Company. For all we know, the Pokemon Company and Niantic license was literally, can you give us $5 for the license and then just make a game? That's all we know. We really don't know that much of how much money they actually made. Nintendo made an announcement telling their investors, please don't invest in us if you think we own Pokemon, because we don't. And when their market call came out on the Wednesday, the stock dropped because they realized, and then Nintendo lost money this past little while because they're not making that much money from Pokemon Go. It's really unfortunate. It really is. If Nintendo made Pokemon Go, that would be it. They would be the biggest video game company on the planet right now.
Yep.
But they didn't. Niantic did.
Yeah. All right. So
I'm just gonna agree with everything you said.
Yeah, why not? No, I'm not saying he's wrong.
No.
I just want to move on to another subject because I'm scared of him.
He's flexing.
There was a couple questions about Shenmue because that's apparently what we always have to talk about, which is fine. Actually, I shot two Shenmue videos have been shot down here.
Yes.
The one we did together, and then the one I don't know if you're still watching, Johnny, Happy Console Gamer. You guys shot one down here, right?
Yeah.
So the question that keeps being thrown at me is like, which version are we getting? A PS4. That's all me. I have no intention of getting the PC version. At least I think I picked it up on the Kickstarter as like a collector's thing just to have it. But I'm gonna play the PS4 version. It's not coming out on anything else. What did you guys back the Kickstarter? I mean, what do you?
I backed the Kickstarter. I think I put down money on the PC version.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I did. Only because at the time I didn't own the corresponding console, so I don't think I owned the PlayStation 4 at the time. So I was a bit nervous about doing that and then buying a PlayStation 4. But now that I have a PlayStation 4, to be honest, it's Shenmue. I mean, that's a console game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I play it on PC, I'm just hooking up a controller and doing it that way.
PS4.
You backed it?
No, I didn't back it. Yeah, I know.
You still can.
Yeah, I will.
The Slacker Backer campaign.
This
Go.
This is the wrong YouTube
Get
channel
the
to be
fuck
on to
outta
be
here.
talking
I
about
know.
me backing
Piece of
that
shit.
game.
I'm
Dude,
lazy. What can I say?
I'll hook.
But I'm gonna get it.
Get the Slacker Backer campaign. Support it. You can buy it, and they can use the money to develop the game to make it better, as opposed to just reimbursing Sony's publication costs.
Okay.
Convinced. Done. All right.
Adam's gonna pay for it. Convinced?
I convinced you. You're
Okay.
gonna buy it, and
Yeah,
if
I'll
you don't,
convince you
I will
later.
annihilate you. Some of our favorite movies. That's a good one.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I figured that was
All time favorite franchise probably, but favorite movie of all time. Hate to be cliche. Shawshank Redemption. Such a good movie.
My favorite franchise would be Star Wars or Back to the Future. They switch.
Back to the Future is a really big one for me. My favorite television show ever made, because it correlates to my favorite movie.
Movies.
It's because they made a movie based off the television series. Cowboy Bebop, my absolute favorite television series of all time. It's an anime, but I love Cowboy Bebop. It is the greatest anime, in my opinion, that was ever made. And they made a really good movie called Knocking on Heaven's Door, which I'm a big fan of. If I'm going to pick live action, Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, two of my favorite films ever made. If I had to pick one movie that I would just go back and watch a billion times again and again without stopping, it would be Back to the Future.
Two things. Quick. one. I did the Back to the Future 4 and 5 thing. I don't know if you guys ever saw them.
Yes.
Check it out.
Check it out. It's on the channel. It's basically a 4th and 5th movie based on Telltale's games. And Scott, I think we have a very good question for you. What did you think of the Ghostbusters 3 movie?
I didn't see it.
What did you think of Ghostbusters 3? The one that just came out. The Ghostbusters 3.
I did see it.
It's the fact that he phrased it that way.
I wouldn't call it Ghostbusters 3 personally. I think it's
show.
All right, because
I'll say my reason, just because you've seen it, maybe a little bit
yeah.
longer. I just didn't think it looked good, and it has nothing to do with them being females or anything. Like, if the movie was good and they were females, they could all be females for the rest of the time. It doesn't make a difference to me. It just didn't look good. And apparently, I predicted right. There'd be a stupid dance number in the movie.
So you want to hear what I was really upset about? I actually like the cast quite a bit. I like the cast.
Yeah, I like some of the actresses, definitely.
I actually liked all the actresses. All the actresses they are really talented, funny actresses. Do you know who's not really talented or funny? Paul Feig, the director. He is a fucking terrible director. Look, if you like any of Paul Feig's films, you don't actually like Paul Feig. I know. Look, okay? You might think you do. You might think, well, I like the movie, but you don't. You like the actors that are given free reign to do anything they want. That's not a good director. That's a shit director. When you could have took the exact same script, and put Edgar Wright on it, and you would have got a movie. You would have got a fucking good movie. Do you know what you do with Ghostbusters 3? You get a fucking horror movie director to direct the movie. You get Sam Raimi, for fuck's sakes. You get anyone other than Paul Feig.
Sam Raimi would have been a beautiful choice.
Right?
Holy shit, I didn't even think of that.
The funny in it, like the Evil Dead trilogy, that kind of...
Aside from Ivan Reitman, who actually did want
Right,
to.
yeah.
There's no way they could have captured anything from the original, so that's a good idea because they could have gone in a different direction. Don't try to do the same thing.
That's just the thing. I was excited to go see this movie because my hope was that I don't care that it's women. I'm excited about the cast. I don't care that.
Oh yeah.
I don't even care that it wasn't even following the old movies, which I like in my mind. I'm like, I can't fucking believe they didn't do that. But I didn't even care about that. What I cared about was if just and I'll say this, I can hate the movie all day long, and really it wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't a good movie. It was mediocre, which is the worst thing it could be. It's a movie that didn't have. If it was a really fantastically bad film, then it's fun to watch. If it was a really good movie, it would be fun to watch. But it was a mediocre film, which basically, in my mind, is a worthless venture where they didn't venture to gain anything, didn't lose anything. They just did something just because they could. And what irritates me the most is that what I wanted to see was some young kids in the audience looking up at the screen and envisioning themselves as Ghostbusters, like I did when I was a kid. That's what I wanted to see. I want to see some young girls, some young kids, but they are so anti-male in the film for no reason at all. They actually drop anti-male rhetoric. It's crazy because I don't understand why this had to be about sexism.
But that doesn't capture the comedy of what was so great about it.
No, it really doesn't, and I think
and the relationships, because the relationships are awesome.
I felt if there was like a young boy in the theaters watching the movie, they probably would have seen the movie and been like, this makes me feel bad, like they don't like boys. But you remember, like in the original Ghostbusters, who's one of the strongest female leads ever in fucking film in that movie?
Sigourney Weaver.
Ellen
Ripley.
She is and she makes that role work because it's not about a defenseless female. It's about somebody who's strong and that's what makes that character so good. Damn. Yeah. Lost
and
opportunity.
She's smart, but once Harold Ramis died, to me,
it was over.
Yeah. We got a third film, guys. All right, we got a third.
The video game.
The 2009 game. Here's the thing. People have asked me like if I would edit that together like I did with Back to the Future and Jurassic Park. Unfortunately, the way that game works, it wouldn't work.
Because there's a lot of stuff.
There's too much just walking around. I mean, the reason the Telltale games work is there are a lot of basically cutscenes, and Ghostbusters wouldn't be like that. You'd have giant skips that wouldn't make any sense because from characters to get story points made, you have to be walking around, and that breaks everything.
Even if you're a little fan, you should really go back and play the game.
Yeah, play the 2009 game.
That would be a good HD, HD remaster, maybe.
Yeah. Play the PS3 or 360 version. The Wii and PS2 version is a different game.
Play the Xbox 360 version. The PS3 version actually has a lower frame rate.
There you go, 360 version.
And it also has some specular visual effects that have been removed. Like, for instance, when you proton pack a wall, you'll actually see like a burning embers on the 360 version. On the PS3, that's not there at all. The PC version is the prime version of the game to get, but honestly, those ones. The thing is, that what you're talking about, having the story elements given to you while you're playing the game, I actually think, of course, making what you did with Back to the Future is really difficult with that.
Oh my god! I'm not gonna talk about it, but it was a fucking pain in the ass.
But you know what? For Back to the Future, for Ghostbusters, the video game, I think that's really cool because that gives you a reason to be playing those elements. Like it gives you a reason to be playing it because it means that they didn't just throw in random gaming elements. There was an actual reason to have those items there.
Question: have you played the new game?
Angry Joe gave it a 1 out of 10.
Yeah,
I got it. And it's abysmal. It's not good.
I'm gonna do a couple name drops here. Remy, I know you're watching. Awesome. I gave you a shout out earlier. You got a mission. You got a mission for Scott the Canadian. We got to do some international cooperation here. He's on the hunt for Taxi 2. Say it in French. There you go. He's looking for that. It's a French exclusive Dreamcast game. See if you can hook him up. Jason Relaxation. I think we all know him.
Hey Jason. How's it going?
Yeah, he asked us a question, but I don't remember what it was, so I'm sorry. Now I do.
Jason Adams going to be at the swap. You can ask him there.
And now that's revealed publicly. No, it's okay. That would have been anyway. I think he asked if we could pick 5 games for the SNES Mini. What would we pick? I wouldn't care. SNES Mini. I wouldn't care. I don't give a fuck about the NES Mini.
Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past is my favorite Zelda game, so I have to pick that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
One.
I'm saying I don't care about clone consoles, even though this one is officially licensed and created by Nintendo, not just the stupid At Games Firecore thing where Sega puts their name on it for a cash grab, even though they don't make it. The SNES Mini, I would not fucking care if it existed. I don't care about the fact.
There's just too many games to pick 5.
Yeah, but okay, the short answer is yes, but I'd pick 5 games, like Donkey Kong Country 2, probably Super Mario World, whatever, but I have those already.
Yep.
Do you have...
I think this is a really good question. For Shane, Adam, and Scott from Martin's... No, I know.
No, it's cool. It's fine.
I don't have like an opinion on that one. For Shane, Adam, and Scott, which games are better when it was in alpha or the beta stage of development? I actually have a very good answer to this one. That's a hard one because that means you had to have played the beta or the alpha.
I didn't... I haven't played enough betas. I can tell you one beta I want, but it's an incredibly predictable answer. I want the Sega Saturn version of Shenmue.
Yeah.
I want that. Obviously, I haven't played it.
What if it's
better? How? How is that possible? I want to play it, but I don't think I ever played... You might... I'd have to think about this. It's a possibility I've played some sort of beta at some point.
I have no idea.
That I enjoyed more. But no, I don't have a solid answer for that.
I do not. Sorry to disappoint you.
Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 in its beta, when you bought the game, you got the beta pre-order and you could actually play the beta. In its beta, it was really good. And then when they released the game, after a little while, they started releasing all these additional features and bullshit and hats and all these extra, just layers and layers and layers of what I amount to trash to expand the game to basically gain money from people, which I wasn't a big fan of. Team Fortress 2 in the beta stage is pure. It's essential. It is exactly what you want out of Team Fortress 2. Great classes, great gameplay, very fun, very addictive, very repetitive. That's what I loved about Team Fortress 2, but as it evolved, it got worse and worse and worse in terms of gameplay, not in terms of graphics and fixing some of the glitches. There are servers you can go where they run vanilla TF2, and that's as close as you'll ever get to playing the beta again, which I really like. Or if you get the Xbox 360 version of the orange box, it actually has the original version. They never upgraded it.
You should get the American version. It doesn't have French all over the label.
I have that.
No, can you tell them the side story about that?
I used to shop at a local game store, and the game owner knew in advance that it was going to come like that, the case.
You have to Google it right now. Look up the Canadian version of Half-Life 2.
It's on the spine. Like most people put games on the shelf with their spine, and it was heavily in French. And he's like, I got these English versions, and it just looks better on the shelf. I don't speak French, so it just made sense. So I bought it.
And Overwatch is a nice example of a game that's basically taken the same elements of the Team Fortress 2 beta and reintroducing it with a bunch of new characters and stuff. I do recommend playing Overwatch. I think it's a really fun game.
Let's see. How tall am I? I think I'm 5'9". I don't know why that matters. Let me see what else we got here. Have I heard about Xbox One getting Phantom Dust, an original Xbox game? Oh yeah, they're remaking Phantom Dust, right? And then it got canceled, and they're bringing it back again.
Are they bringing it back, man?
Oh really?
I thought so.
Is it the same developers? Or
I don't know. I vaguely recall that.
I actually watched. It was either I watched somebody's video on it. It might have been George from Super Bunny Hop because he does a lot of videos about this stuff. But there was a game. They canceled Phantom Dust because it went through development hell and it just went in a really bad way, really quick.
Nothing wrong with canceling if that's what happened.
Yeah.
Do any of you play Rocket League?
Yeah, I love Rocket League.
Every time.
If I need to burn time, Rocket League is the game to play.
I suck at Rocket League. I really suck.
You know what? I can't do any of the aerials, but it's just a fun, simple game to play. I love it.
I'll give it that. I'm just really bad at it. I do not ever claim to say I'm good at that game because
I would never say that either.
So it was funny. I did a video where I was reviewing the HD PVR 60 so I could get 60 frames per second. And Rocket League's a beautifully 60 frame per second game.
It's a beautiful game. Simple but perfect.
And I had to get gameplay of it, so I'm playing it because it doesn't play itself. So I just get some gameplay, and then somebody went, "Hey Shane, who'd you hire to suck at Rocket League?" And it's like, "Oh, thanks, man." Like, but I was bad at it. Yeah.
A couple of quick questions. What do you think about Cuphead? I actually got to play Cuphead. I played it at Gamescom
I did too,
last year.
yeah.
I never got to play it.
Oh, it's fucking great.
I'll check it out.
They've made a lot of progress since. You get a little hometown representation. It's made by 2 Canadian guys. Just two.
It's a bigger team, but the artists.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The animation is done by these 2 guys. It's all hand animated. It's fucking cool. You should definitely look it up. And somebody, I want to say the Retro Electors, shout out to you guys. I know you're in the chat. They asked you personally, what is the weirdest or piece of shit controller you bought recently? Maybe ever. Let's just go with that.
The weirdest or the worst controller I ever got is literally a video called "The Worst Console Ever," and it's got little devil horns on the bottom grips. It's a PlayStation 2 controller, and actually
worst console or worst controller?
Worst controller. Sorry, worst controller ever. That's the name of the video, and it's this little controller with like a devil face on it with like a skull. The select and start buttons are glowing red eyes or green eyes or something like that. And there's little horns on it that dig into your hand. Like it actually hurts to hold this thing. It's very uncomfortable. It's a very dirty looking controller. It looks really crazy and weird, but I hated that controller.
I gotta see this thing.
I got rid of it, dude. I threw it away.
Nice.
I don't remember what happened to that thing.
What are our thoughts on the Brazilian exclusive Sega Master System games? How hard are they to find in North America? First of all, if you don't know, the Sega Master System is the world's longest lasting game console. It is still produced by Sega officially in Brazil. They still get new hardware. They still get new games. Now, the question about how easy are those games to come by, not at all up here. You will never find them unless somebody really wanted to import the shit out of those.
You saw them at the Waterloo Video Game Swap. There was one guy that was selling a bunch of them.
The Tech Toy ones? That would be them.
Yeah.
I think he had one that said Tech Toy on it, although I don't remember
There were
what game it was.
a bunch of PAL ones.
I've
PAL
seen,
ones are easy.
I've seen Duke Nukem on Sega Genesis in person twice now.
Wow.
Yeah, but they don't pop up often, man, because it's a bitch to get them up here. And there's no demand in North America for Sega Master System. I imagine they're probably a little more common in Europe because they actually really liked the console over there. But yeah, over here we had how many Master System games were there?
I couldn't tell you.
Because Pete has the set.
I couldn't tell you how many. It doesn't look like
it's
a
small.
lot.
It's like maybe like a couple hundred.
Maybe even less
at best. Maybe
But there's a lot of really good games. Oh, we're talking about Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters. Terrence and Mike and I, we were sitting down. We were actually trying to do a video on this. Ghostbusters on the Master System looks so much better compared to Ghostbusters on the NES or the Atari 2600.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's this version here. It's the Commodore 64 version.
I'm glad I had that ready for you.
Yeah, right. It's it's right there.
That's the only Master System game I own.
Ghostbusters on.
Yeah.
It's also
dude. It is actually way better.
Yeah.
I
hooked him up with that. I hooked him up with that at the swap. Talked the guy way down. Got it cheap. Then what happened?
I got it for $5 without a manual. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna find a Ghostbusters manual by itself. We're going through Chicago. I find one for $1.99 at a disc replay.
Yeah, it's a disc replay.
I'm like, wow, what are the odds?
And I was like, you're welcome, motherfucker.
Because nobody ever completes that. I find every time I buy something that's not complete, I can never piece it together.
Yeah, well, lucky charm, man.
Yeah, lucky charm.
Yeah. What the hell are we talking about?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Oh, the only Genesis game that this guy owns is Ghostbusters.
No. It's the only Master System. On Genesis, I own Mega Man: The Wily Wars as well.
That's not official though.
Yeah, but
unless you have the PAL version.
No, I own the Repro.
So then the only official Genesis game this dude owns.
Damn.
Is Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's sacrilege, but it's okay.
EverDrive.
EverDrive. Do I watch anime? I do not. Do you
guys?
guys?
I do not.
I do. Yeah. Akira, Ghost in the Shell. Like I said, Cowboy Bebop is my favorite television show of all time. Live action or non, it is my favorite. There's like a couple of other ones that I like a lot of. Trigun is one I really really like. I haven't really kept up with new modern anime too much, but Fooly Cooly is probably one of the last ones I watched. I forget what it's called, Speed Graph or whatever it was, and stuff like that. But honestly, when it comes to anime, I'm a big fan of Cowboy Bebop. It's like it's so important to me. I don't even think I'd be in video development at all had it not been for Cowboy Bebop inspiring me to edit differently and stuff.
We got a little help in the comments. 114 Sega Master System games.
Yeah,
in
I can
North
see
America.
that.
So that's plausible. Hang on, they're coming in really fast all of a sudden. Any Sega Saturn recommendations for collecting? Problem with the Saturn doing is it's too late. Saturn is impossible to collect for now. If you want quality titles for a budget, good luck.
If you can speak Japanese, just
yeah,
get them
then you do
way,
that.
yeah.
If you insist on North American stuff or European stuff, maybe like Bug.
A lot of Japanese games.
Yeah.
Lot of Japanese.
Oh.
I think people underestimate how many Japanese.
It's insane. Here's the thing: North America, 244 games. All right, Europe about the same. They had 32 exclusives we didn't have, but then we had some that they didn't have. That's usually normal. There's about like 30 to 50 like overlap on any given console. PS2 is insane. It's 800. They had over anyway.
Wow.
That doesn't matter. But Japan, there's like 1,400 literally exclusive titles for Saturn that don't exist in North. That doesn't even include the ones that we did get.
Now,
don't even attempt Japanese Saturn unless you want specific titles or just penny lots.
Now, of course, 99.9% of those games are dating simulators.
That is absolutely true. Yeah, that's the thing. You're not even fucking wrong. Like, it's a shit ton of them. That was when I was collecting Dreamcast. Dude, that was the worst part about it. It was just the fact that you're spending money knowing you're buying a fucking shitty date sim. And like, there's a bunch of them on there. Like, Orange
Did it actually
Pocket?
help anybody?
It's some guy on eBay made some money.
No, I mean the dating simulator actually helps somebody.
Oh,
date
I don't know.
somebody.
I can't play that shit. It's all in Japanese. If you want to go to play date sim, play Honey Pop. There you go. We do a series on Honey Pop on my other channel. You can watch that. It's funny. But that's in English, so that we can actually do. Where the ladies at? That's Scott later.
Yeah, maybe. I guess so.
If we get them drunk enough, we'll see what we can do.
I'm down.
All right. Oh, you'll go down. Don't worry. What else is going on? Wait, what time does the place close?
10.
10? Okay. How about we go for another 10 minutes?
Okay.
All right, we're going to go for 10 more minutes. So we're going to do some... We're gonna
Get
try
those
some,
questions in.
Yeah, we're going to try some lightning round questions, or we could just shoot the shit for a bit, and you guys can laugh at how stupid we are. And Remy, I believe, said he's on the case. He's going to start looking. But he also wants to know why you don't like French on your labels. Now, I'm an American, so I'm a purist. You know, it looks weird to me. You guys are the ones with French on everything, because they obviously speak French. So, why don't you tell them?
Believe it or not, I'll go back to like the Genesis days. I just love how they all look on the shelf and they're symmetrical. With our language, sometimes it shows English, sometimes it shows French. It's just, I like consistency, and that's the only reason. I have nothing against the French language. It's just I prefer consistency in my labels.
I honestly don't mind too much. I'm okay with having French labels on stuff here. It just reminds me of our dual languages we have in Canada, and I'm totally fine with that. In some cases, I've seen really good versions of Canadian like manuals done, but in cases, but more often than not, I've seen it kind of done poorly, which is like an afterthought, but.
Yeah, that's what I mean. A lot of times when they put French, it's an afterthought. If it was more evenly based, I think I would like it a lot more.
Yeah.
All right.
Or if you could flip the case.
Yeah.
We got a question from a dude named Derek. I know he's a big fan of you and me.
Oh, okay.
To the point where once when I was streaming and you were streaming at the same time, he was actually writing in the comments, I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know which one to pick. So I want to give a shout. He had a question.
You pick him.
No, he picked you.
Oh,
no, actually, I think he did stick it with me. No, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you, Derek. Anyway, the question was, for you, what do you think of the VTech Socrates? Do you know what it is?
The VTech Socrates is a children's video game system?
It's an educational system that I believe uses like VHS tapes. I think, or audio cassettes. I don't know enough about it.
No idea.
But he asked you, and it sounds like something you would know.
No, I don't. I know of the Action Advantage or whatever it's called, the Action Max. Action Max. That's a VHS video game system. But outside of that, I'm honestly.
Do you want one of those?
Yeah, sure.
I don't have one, but a guy contacted me and he's like, I don't want this. I was thinking about just throwing it away.
No, don't give it to me. Yeah, I'll do
All
a
right,
video on it.
I'll
Oh my
contact the
God.
guy. I'll contact the guy.
No,
'cause-
seriously. There was a show that they played here called Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future.
I remember that.
Show, okay, do you remember how on that show, like the people's chests were like glowing?
Yeah.
That's because you turned on your Action Max and you shot at the people while you're
Oh,
watching
wow.
the show. Think about that, right?
Yeah.
So I have to go find episodes of Captain Power just to play it on that TV right there, that CRT TV.
It's the bigger version of this thing.
Yeah, this thing here, just in order to do that. But I don't have an Action Max. So.
That'll be awesome. I hope you do that.
Yeah. I'd love to do that episode. I really would. I'm pretty sure James and Mike, or the Ink Video Game Nerd, did an episode on that.
Nice.
Yeah, we got to hang out with him in Too Many Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. Scott wasn't there.
No.
I invited Scott.
You're coming to too many
Yeah.
games. Next
I
time.
invited him this time, and he was like,
No, I can.
Yeah, it's just-
No, I had other commitments. But next
Yeah, it
year,
was
I'll
called-
come.
You know
doing this.
your commitments are. You just go, hey, fuck you. I'm going to Pennsylvania, mother.
No, that's what I did to you guys.
I know. And you went to Pennsylvania without us?
Yeah.
What an asshole.
Watched from a distance.
What a dick. Scott the Dick. By the way, the whole Scott the Canadian thing, that's based on the old South Park joke of if you watch the early episodes of South Park, when Canada was more depicted in that show, you guys have the flapping heads and
Terrence
all that
and
stuff.
Phillip?
Terrence and Phillip stuff, yeah. They're in South Park lore, Canada's almost like a fictional place where like unicorns would come from and stuff. There's one road that connects all of Canada. Like it's a weird fictional land in South Park. But in South Park, all the Canadians have there's only like one there's only like one person with every single name, so there would only be one Shane and there'd only be one Scott, like etc. And they all have the first letter of their name on their t-shirts, and every single Canadian is essentially the same person. They're all very, very nice and very friendly, except for Scott. He's the only dick in all of Canada, so that's what that's based on. Just to embrace it, man.
Yeah, I got it.
He's got to be Scott the Canadian.
They were thinking about me.
Yeah. All right, so let's we got a few more minutes. Let's do a few more questions. Panzer Dragoon memories? Anybody play that with any kind of
I never got into it until later. And I only played 1 and 2 because
Saga is expensive. My
I just
greatest
couldn't find it.
Do I have Saga?
my greatest memory of Panzer Dragoon is finding a buy it now lot with the 3 Saturn games, including Saga, for $80 US. All
I got
minty
Orta.
fresh.
Yeah.
And that's how I got those.
Yeah, orders on Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, and Orta. Yeah, that one was easy to get. Or well, it's getting a little harder, but
But if you're interested to see what Panzer Dragoon plays like, I think that's a really easy way to get
Oh,
into
definitely.
it. I mean, you can get a cheap Xbox, get that to go. Why not?
Plus, they I don't think a lot of people know this. In Panzer Dragoon Orta, you can unlock Panzer Dragoon 1 fully playable on OG Xbox.
Oh, wow,
If you have a modded Xbox, they actually the fan communities have actually separated the game itself, so you can just download and just install just the first game onto your OG Xbox.
Nice.
So if you ever want to play it, they can't. I guess they didn't lose the source code to that one, but Saga sadly gone forever. But
I laugh. It was when what's his name from Sega went over to Microsoft to do the whole deal. It was like, we'll
Peter
give you
Moore.
this game.
It's fucking Peter Moore. It's always Peter Moore. If there's a problem with any video game company, it's Peter Moore.
He had like a flash disc on. He was like, just take this and put it on the game.
He's the guy who
Good.
fucked up Sega. He's technically the guy who went into Dreamcast. Technically the guy who stopped Shenmue. The guy who cut off our last. He's the one who prevented Rez. He's the one. Sorry, Shane. He's the one who prevented all the Headhunter, all the late great Dreamcast titles. He's like, nah, fuck that. The guy who sold us all out so that he could go get a job at Microsoft. Then he made the Xbox division wasn't too
The
great.
Xbox 360 was a bad move as well. I mean, I love the
he was
console.
probably the guy who greenlit the fucking. Let's go with the RROD version.
Yes.
Now you know what this motherfucker is doing? EA. He's like the head of EA, the most hated fucking video game company on the planet. Get the fuck out of video games, Peter Moore, please.
It was insane. The what was I gonna say? It was
360.
Yeah, the 360. The 360 has a lot of really great games on it, but that initial version had a really bad chip, man, and that one it broke. A friend of mine, his system broke, and I went, wrap it in a towel and turn it on. He was like, bullshit, and I was like, do it, and he did.
Yeah.
And he was like, it works, and I was like, okay, get whatever you need off of it because it's not gonna last that much longer.
No, I sent mine in twice.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
And it never happened at the same time as your friends, so you're just like,
Yeah, right.
Oh, it says there's also a Panzer Dragoon Ona PS2. I don't know. I think that was just like a somewhat upgraded version of Panzer Dragoon 1. However, it does remind me there is a Panzer Dragoon Mini Game Gear exclusive game.
Yes,
Japan.
that
only.
was one of the last games.
Yeah, Japan only. It's
I think I've actually played that one
yeah,
more than
very
the other versions. of the
very
game.
hard to find, unfortunately. because it's incredibly sought after by collectors. I do not own it.
It's not the greatest game in the world.
Oh, I'm sure it's not.
You know, because it's basically a Master System running Panzer Dragoon, right? So
Yeah.
Yep.
You
You gonna finish it off?
Yeah, let's. Well, we got a couple more minutes.
All right.
All right, guys, give us some just something interesting we can really kind of throw at you, or just some power round questions. Thoughts on Daytona USA? I don't really have any. The only thing I found ever interesting about Daytona USA was really the story about how when Sega jumped the Saturn launch date, the first version was essentially a beta that they had to release publicly. Then later they released Championship Circuit Edition, which was like really the intended finished game. And I guess the arcade version, which was essentially the Dreamcast version, wasn't too bad.
I preferred the arcade.
Yeah, I'm not
it was
too
just
into
a more immersive
thing.
experience.
I'm not too into racing games unless they're like silly. Like Mario Kart is fun. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer for the Dreamcast, one of my favorite racing games of all time.
Yeah.
A lot of people like the N64 version better than that.
Well, they're wrong.
A lot of
It's
people think it runs better.
DualSense.
No, a lot of people just feel it runs better.
No,
Really?
I mean,
Yeah, I've heard that a couple
Not
times.
true.
It's not true at all. It's just demonstrably false.
No.
But you don't own it yet. That's one of your ones on your list. So why don't you get it and then
I had it,
try
though.
But you don't have it now.
I don't have it now.
Yeah, so you're
I
fucked.
will have it.
Wait,
Fuck, son.
I'm gonna take it from
didn't
Adam.
Sega make the arcade version, like with the big things?
Oh yeah,
So how could you be right?
I said some people. I didn't say
Yeah,
me.
yeah, they were the incorrect people.
All right, we'll check it out
Because
later.
literally, if they
Right.
made the arcade version, then the arcade version would have just probably.
It would have
running
just been a
on
port
Girl
too.
stuff, right?
The Dreamcast version is fantastic. Now, don't get me wrong. I like
Naomi board. So.
Yeah, whatever. We're all good.
I could have sworn there was a YouTube video on that.
Probably was.
And very detailed about why the N64 one was better.
Well,
Let's move on.
We are
Die
moving
Hard
on.
Arcade. I love that. Dynamite Cop.
Oh yeah, you
Love
Dynamite,
that.
oh my god,
Oh,
I'm
so
such a
good.
fan of Die Hard Arcade and Dynamite Cop.
Like if you own a Dreamcast,
Tell them
Dynamite
quickly
Cop.
why there's a connection there.
Okay, so Dynamite Cop on the Dreamcast is the sequel to Die Hard Arcade simply because they couldn't actually make a sequel to Die Hard Arcade because you can't make Die Hard 2. That's a movie, and that movie would be nothing like this one. This
It was
one
just a movie
Yeah.
license thing. Plus Bruce Willis likeness. No way.
And unfortunately, on the Naomi arcade board, there is an actual Dynamite Cop 2, which is called Dynamite Deca 2 in Japan. So there is a third Die Hard arcade, essentially, but it was just never released here.
And they're working on an emulator.
Are they?
Yes.
Because
So,
I
I don't know. I don't know how well it is.
I've
could
tried,
already be running.
I've tried so hard to run it off with MAME, and it just does not work. They should do... Okay, we're talking about HD ports. Dynamite Cop Trilogy on the freaking... on Steam, on PlayStation 4,
I'd
and
be
Xbox
down for
One.
that.
I would
Dynamite
love
Cop
that.
is rising in price because it's one of those games that once people figure it out, it's a great game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fantastic game. I remember
And
playing that a
there's
lot.
multiple paths and stuff. They did a great job on that, man. Unlike...
Yeah.
Arcade... Sega... When it comes to Sega and arcade games, they win. There's not even a competition.
Apparently, I'm a dick and we're really boring. So, all right, I think it's time to end the stream.
Yeah.
All right, and in all seriousness, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you had some fun. I want to thank Shane and I want to thank Scott for coming out. I just realized you both have names that start with S and you're
Yeah.
both Canadian. That's fucking weird. And you both don't like
Thanks,
Tim
Mom.
Hortons. You both don't like Tim Hortons.
No,
That's insane.
Anyone in Canada that has S in their name, they don't like Tim Hortons. It's very simple. Right at the beginning, though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, right at the beginning.
Oh, and I want to tell one side story about Tim Hortons. So I was in Ireland. All right.
Oh, yeah, tell
Yeah, I was in Ireland, right? And now Dublin specifically is almost like, and I hope I'm not offending any Irish people. You guys seemed really hard to offend when I was there. It's like mini America. Our flag is everywhere over there. Okay, probably it's a high tourist area, so I get that. But I'm not Canadian, but I like to rep my friends. I like to check out and make sure that the rest of the world knows they exist. And so I was like, let's see if I can find a Canadian flag anywhere. I found a hotel that had a Canadian flag on it. I was like, all right, they're repping my people. Not my people, but my friends, my buddies. And I swear to God, next to it, the only Tim Hortons in all of Europe. I'm like, you motherfuckers!
That's just the first step, apparently. You
That's
get one in there, and
insane.
then you get
And the
another
pictures
one.
you sent were insanity.
Oh,
I've never seen
I
it.
took photos of the food. It was disgusting. It was like, how you're supposed to be like oven fresh right out. It was straight out of the freezer. Like, it was gross.
It was shipped right from
It was
Canada.
disgusting.
The pictures you sent me looked like a Dunkin' Donuts in an airport. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like, it looked like that.
That's
And
essentially
you know
what it
what?
was.
Adam took me to my first Dunkin' Donuts in Chicago last month, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. But we should probably explain if you've never been to like Canada, you may not know this. Tim Hortons is a disease here, man. It's a coffee shop, donut shop. It is everywhere. Like, if you're an American, to compare it, it would be like if you combined the volume of Subway, McDonald's, Walmart, Starbucks, and Walgreens and just made it all of those things the same donut shop. There's a city here called Oakville, I think is literally the end of the universe. There's an old Lewis Black joke about a Starbucks across from a Starbucks is the end of the universe. No. I found a place with 3 24-hour Tim Hortons all at the same damn intersection.
Cambridge is way worse.
Can you find one with 3 at the same intersection?
I can find one with on the same street. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like about 10 on one street.
Not just the street.
And now they start putting them in gas stations.
They're all owned by the same family, though. The same family owns all of them because none of them run out of money. They all just keep making more.
That's the thing. These people are addicted to it.
They shut one.
You're not you
and neither is he.
This family shut one down not because it wasn't profitable, but because they simply didn't like the class of clientele that it attracted. I'm being serious.
Wow.
10 people showed up in motorcycles. They closed it down. That was it.
I thought money was money and product was product.
Yeah, I do have one story about that. One time when I'm driving back I'm about to cross the border, and I decided I need to pick up some Tim Hortons just to get the donuts, just to bring them back so I could torture my friends with them because they're disgusting. And but there was like this huge snowstorm, right? Like really bad. Totally should not have been driving. Streets were not plowed at all. And I'm just driving like really slow, trying to find the nearest one in Sarnia. Which, if you've ever been to anywhere in Southern Ontario, you know if it takes you more than a minute and a half to find a Tim Hortons, you're not actually in Canada. But so I found one, barely got over there. Where were the plow trucks? There were 2 of them in the parking lot of Tim Hortons, just circling around, keeping that motherfucker open. And I was like, "You've got to be shitting me!" So I went in there, got the donuts, and I left. It's like unbelievable. Anyway, the coffee, though, that I had in Dublin from Tim Hortons, hands down, the worst coffee I have ever had. I would go happily over to a real Tim Hortons and down that shit before ever taking a sip of this disgusting one. If you're in Ireland and you're anywhere near Dublin, go there and don't fucking buy that coffee. Just fucking piss all over it and get the hell out of there. It's illegal, but you should do it anyway, just to make a statement. That shit is gross. Anyway, I think with that... we will bid you adieu.
That was a good send-off.
Yeah, I will bid you adieu. Since I'm here and speak your language, adieu.
Is that our language?
It's French. It's all you guys.
Hey,
all right.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out his channel. You could check out his, but it's a rock climbing video or something.
It's me jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, whatever.
In a lake
It's
with my
all the same
buddies.
shit.
And he survived it.
He did survive.
So watch that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
In fact-
maybe I'll
in
make
fact,
a sequel.
In fact, unsubscribe from us and watch Scott.
Don't do that.
You'll be very disappointed.
Yes, it'll be really bad. All right, thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you all later. Bye. I gotta get up to go turn off the stream.
Okay.
So you guys are gonna see me get up. Hey, Scott's gone. Bye.
This is my house. I'm gonna stay here.
Ugh.